All right, so guys, if you see, this is actually, all of that's just one term, y'all. There is not a single plus or a minus at all here. So we don't really have to worry about practicing any factoring on this first example. But the same rules apply from yesterday. You have to state restrictions in the denominator. So if you notice, you have 3 restrictions that you're going to replace. You're going to place a restriction on the x, the y, and the z. What can these not be? That's right. That's right. Good job. So go ahead and restrict your variables. And guys, remember, when you're multiplying, you just multiply straight across. So I'm going to do 2 times 3. So my brand new fraction is going to start with a 6. And I'm going to write the letters in order, guys. So on the top, you only have 2 x's. So I'm going to write x squared. For your y's, you just have a single one over there. And then how many z's are there?
5.
That's right, there's 5. You add the z's. Okay, let's take a look at the denominator. We're going to start out with a 40, because 5 times 8. And then you also have some x's. You have 3 x's down here. You have y cubed, and you have a single z. And just like yesterday, we have to simplify and reduce our fraction. So guys, look at this 6 over 40. What does that simplify to? Say again?
What?
Almost. Cut them in half. What's 6 over 40 in half?
3 over 20.
3 over 20. Can you keep going from 3/20? No. So our new fraction is going to have a 3 and a 20. And then guys, if you notice, 2 of these x's are going to cancel out 2 of those. You're going to have a single x in the denominator. You're also going to have y's in the denominator. You're only going to have 2 y's this time. Your letter z is going to be in the numerator. One of these is going to cancel out one of those at the top. So it's going to be z to the 4th. And that is going to be the answer for number 1. All right. Any questions on that? That was pretty basic. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is on level with us. This was a little lower level.
Wait, how'd you, hold on, go back. How'd you get, I don't understand how you got the
So problem number 2 is a division problem. We are going to flip it, but that's later after a few steps, guys. If you look at this numerator, can this numerator be factored? It can, y'all. What are the numbers that we're going to use that makes a -8 that combines to make a 2? 2 and 4. Which one's negative? 2 is going to be a negative. A -2 and a +4 is a -2. Look down here. Is this factorable? What are the numbers for this one? 3 and 1. 3 and 1. 3 times 1, 3 plus 1. And then you can still factor that. What do you do?
3x plus 1.
Yes, you factor out a 3. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to recopy the problem. And we're going to use the +4 and the -2 for the top. We're going to use the +3 and the +1 for the bottom. And then remember, on the other fraction, all we could do was factor out a GCF. Okay, it is now at this time when you finally are going to state restrictions as the first step. This is not the only time we're stating restrictions. So remember, we only care about restrictions in the denominator. So I'm going to go ahead and write my restrictions down here at the bottom of my page. So what could x not be for this one? A -3 for that one. And then a -1 for that one. And guys, if you look over here at this single 3, it doesn't have an x next to it, so we don't care about it. But we do care about this. That's a -1, correct? We've already written -1, so don't write a repeat. All right, so now we're ready to keep, change, flip. So we're going to keep the first fraction as it is, change the division symbol to a multiplication symbol, and flip the second fraction upside down. So just recopy your first fraction as is. And then remember to flip the second one. And guys, from here, you've got to check your restrictions again because the denominator changed. We got to add something. What do we have to add to the restrictions? Yes, because of that. So let's add it too. All right, so now we're ready to cancel out anything. Anything will cancel out as long as there's one on the top and another one on the bottom. It doesn't matter if they're not on the same fraction. So like this x minus 2, that's going to cancel out one of these. So I'm going to cancel out this x minus 2, and there's only going to be a single x minus 2 left. Did y'all see anything else?
X plus 1.
Okay, let's cross those out. And then I believe that's it. So when you write your answer is always going to be a single fraction. And guys, just write what's on top. So we have a 3 and we have an x plus 4. Guys, don't distribute. Leave everything in factored form. It's fine. If you multiplied that back out, that's just extra work. Don't do that. We had 2 factors in our denominator. And that's it. So that's going to be the answer for number 2. We have this fraction, and we're doing division, so we're going to flip something upside down in a little while. 4a to the third divided by b squared minus, or over b squared minus 4. And then we don't have any exponents here, but I bet there's a GCF in that other numerator. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So the first numerator, you cannot do anything to the first numerator. So I'm just going to recopy 4a to the third. And then guys, what is the first denominator simplified to? Plus 2 and minus 2. Good. And then what is the greatest common factor out of the top?
6a.
6a, yes, good job. So when you factor out a 6a, you're going to have a b, and then 18 divided by 6. Negative 18 divided by a 6 is a negative 3. I'm going to distribute this in my head to make sure I did this right. That's just 6ab. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. All right, we did good. Guys, what are the factors of the second denominator? A 3 and a 2. Which one's negative? The 3, yes. Okay, it's completely factored, so let's go ahead and start our restrictions. So I'm going to write the not equal sign. Okay, so guys, we're going to write a plus minus 2 for both of these. And then it looks like we just need to add one more restriction right now, which is going to be a 3. Okay, let's keep change flip. Let's change it to a multiplication problem. Okay, please remember you always have to double check your restrictions because most of the time you have to add to it, and we do have to add to it. Do you see the new restriction? The 0. What cannot be 0? Right. So what would make that 0? Yeah. A cannot be 0. Good job. So remember, this time we did worry about the 6 because it had a letter next to it. Okay, so these minus 3's go away. And then do you see anything else? Oh yeah, the plus 2. There's still more. The A's, one of these a's down here is going to cancel out one of the a's at the top, and you're going to have a squared left. What about 4 over 6? Yes, let's rewrite that as 2/3. Good job. Okay, guys, all we need to do is just stick that stuff together, and then we got just one more. So one single fraction bar. The only thing that's remaining at the top is 2a squared. At the bottom, you have a single 3 and a b minus 2. Put your single 3 first. And then that's going to be the answer.
We did not check ours.
I'll come over.
Wow.
So let's talk about what happens here. Guys, the top is going to turn into x plus 4, x plus 5. Then this is going to be 2x minus 1, 2x plus 1. And then remember, everything else is factored. So I'm just going to recopy it, and then I'm going to state restrictions. Okay, so we're going to say that x cannot equal. Are y'all good on the fractions on this? What can x not equal for this one?
1/2.
Yes. And then
Negative 1/2.
yes, okay. So draw your plus minus 1/2, and then remember a negative 5. And then you also have another a positive 1/2, but we already wrote it, so you don't have to do it again. All right, we are ready to go ahead and flip this fraction. Remember, that's going to turn into multiplication. Okay. All right. And then before you start canceling out, there's one more number that's restricted. It's going to be a negative 7. All right. So when you cancel out, let's see what happens. Looks like the plus 5. Do y'all see anything else that cancels? The 2x plus 1.
2x minus 1.
That's it. So remember, your answer is always a single fraction with x plus 4 on top and x plus 7 at the bottom. And then that's going to be the answer.